All right, we're live. We're back. It's day 3 for graphic design with Christine and Aaron from Farm Design. This is going to be fun because I've been watching this process go now for almost 3 days.
Yeah.
And what you did yesterday was like blowing my mind because it was so fast. So we're back to finish up and continue working on the various designs that they were doing before, and there's some collaboration going on, some Creative Cloud collaboration going on, so all kinds of things going on. And of course, keep the chat going. This is where we get our questions. When they get quiet, I look for your questions to keep them going.
Yeah, we love questions.
Yeah, they love questions, so there you go. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's awesome, but you know what's more awesome? Watching it on AdobeLive.com. Because at AdobeLive.com, there's a contest tab that doesn't exist on the YouTube page. So if you're interested in potentially winning money and winning Creative Cloud, always monitor the contest.
Who doesn't want to win money?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's some people.
What? I don't know those people.
Maybe I need to be friends with those people.
Yeah. Always head over to Adobe Live and see what the current contests are. I know there's one for Felix, but you never know when Michael might feel generous and just pop a new one in there. So if you don't monitor it, you'll never know. All right, so with that said, Christine.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
We're back.
Awesome.
We're back.
We're excited
It's
to be
Thursday.
back.
Yeah.
It's Thursday, which is our Friday.
I'm kind
It feels like Friday,
yeah, it does.
right?
Kind of sad.
Yeah. It's been awesome working with you and the
Yeah.
Adobe Live team and working with the audience and being able to
it's
field
been,
questions.
It's been a blast.
The experience has been awesome.
You guys have taught me a lot
Cool.
in like a short amount of time, so I've been digging it. Because you're doing the stuff that I don't get a chance to do. So
Yeah. No, we're here to be transparent and sort of help demystify things that, especially a lot of students or young designers, are not quite certain what happens in that next realm. So Farm Design is here to sort of answer any questions, demystify anything, and share knowledge. So give us a bunch of questions today.
all right.
Can't wait.
Squib TV's here from India. Hello, Squib
Wow.
TV.
You guys are still awake?
North Carolina, Tampa. Let's do it. Hi, guys.
Right on.
All right. Question. What question you like the most?
What questions you like the most? We like the questions.
Well, I think you tend to like the ones that are about the career part of it and how to get started and mentoring and all of
growth.
that.
Yeah.
I think growth
yeah.
questions, those are the things when I was in school or just a recent graduate, it's like I always had to, like, what happens next? What do I do next? How do I grow? How do I improve?
And that's so cool that you're willing to share that with people, because a lot of people, they make it and I'm keeping that to myself.
Yeah, keep
I
it
don't want
proprietary.
I don't want anyone to know my secrets, but it's so cool that you're here sharing.
Cool. Yeah.
And
Well-
Christine, you're just like, you speak,
She's a stud,
you're
right?
like, your work just speaks for itself. Like, I was watching her yesterday, and it's like, I didn't know Illustrator could go that fast.
No, I mean, like, I love helping people out too. Taught by the same guy, so
Cool.
share the same passion.
All right, let's do this. Who's up first?
Yeah, I'll do like another quick recap just to fill everyone in. So we're doing a beverage consumer packaged good, and it's called Wilder Shrub. I'll kind of go through it again right here. It started by 2 buddies that were inspired to start their own kind of simple syrups and vinegar drinks because people were asking for something that were non-alcoholic. So we're kind of delving into that. Yeah,
I don't drink, so that'd be me.
Yeah, so Shrub is, made out of fruit, sugar, and vinegar. It's got health benefits. If you add sparkling water, it becomes a ready-to-drink beverage. It's got great history. We covered some people in the market right now. Then we did like a dissection of what kind of information is laid out on everyone else's packaging. What are the emerging shrub sodas out there?
Yeah, just get a sense of the landscape.
Target demographic.
Create parameters for us.
And then a hybrid. And then we also went over kind of like a process of how to start your concepts. So I'll jump into those right now. So I'll open up what I had yesterday. So yesterday I went over setting down grids. We did one in quarters, one in thirds, and basic shapes.
And you did those in like, I don't know, what, 0.3 seconds?
Maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, just laying out your foundation. It's that 5-foot rule when someone's standing, down the aisles, what's going to catch your eye first.
Go back. I'm still digging number 3. Yeah.
I'm going to do one when I get home just to send it to you.
Number 3, thank you.
So, I mean, these were really quick sprints. And this kind of helps you, exercise. Don't get stuck on one idea because you can have.
And I'm digging number 4 on that one.
Number 4.
Okay,
now I'm going to have 2 projects
there you go.
On the side.
Make it happen.
So that's kind of
you can bill him all your time.
What?
Not Adobe?
No. Bill him.
I need to bill whoever wins the $1,000.
There you go.
I'm going to take your money.
The people that don't enter the contest because they don't need to. Those are the ones we need to bill.
So these were basic.
And mood boards?
And then, mood boards, sorry.
So from the foundation of researching it, understanding the project brief, then we take that knowledge and we start crafting, building assets in what we call sort of brandscape or a mood board. Mm-hmm. And that's what helps generate these ideas, quick ideas. And so the mood board is generated by creating these little buckets of information, artifacts that we find online typically.
Yeah, so these were the buckets of visuals and words.
And Marcy, I agree. Christine is beyond awesome.
Thanks, Marcy. So we have flavors here, possible illustrations that we could use. The history behind it. During that century, the Homestead Act was happening. The story behind Laura Ingalls Wilder, and Wilder is what inspired the name. Quick logo explorations.
So there's a lot of artifacts that we pull that we quickly grab and put them into folders on our desktop. Mm-hmm. And then we sort of compartmentalize them. But we take it a step further by building these little brandscapes, which we spend 15 to 20 minutes each on. And I encourage everyone to do a bunch of these different brandscapes. Internally we do about 15 to 20 of these, and then we narrow it down to about 8 or 10 to sort of start getting ideas. This is just one of the brandscapes that we...
Have your mood board?
Oh, you want to see mine? Mine wasn't very good.
We're
going to stick with yours.
We got all right. I'm seeing all your amazing questions. So
yeah, I'm seeing a lot here too.
They aren't going unnoticed. I'm just waiting for the break so I can get in and ask
I'm salivating and biting at the bit here to get to some of those questions.
There's a couple in there that are good. Are really good.
So this is a brandscape that we sort of slap together in 15 or 20 minutes. We keep it very sort of
loose, fuzzy,
organic. Yeah, we don't try to box it in. We like to create a lot of overlaps and little areas on the mood board for possible opportunities, visual opportunities. We start to get a sense of hierarchy and color and textures. A lot of these things start to are born here on this brandscape. And when we do it super quick, because that's where a lot of serendipity happens in design. You don't try to force it or try to impose much of your preconceived ideas.
Yeah.
Just keep it really sort of nebulous and fuzzy. And I think that's where things sort of just happen.
And it looks like you from yesterday, you did an amazing job doing that.
Thank you. Yeah. And I know there was a question yesterday about like how to do a mood board. I suggest starting off with like, a color palette, simple blocks of color, maybe a logo, a found artifact.
Artifacts, yep. My new favorite term.
Artifact that's already been done.
Because I was referring to it as before as stuff.
Oh, stuff. Okay, great.
We still use that term.
We use stuff. You can do that. Whatever works for you.
Put some stuff on there.
But yeah, like a found artifact. This isn't to copy. It's just giving a sense of the style or the essence that your brand will have. And then maybe try pulling some imagery. And if you have big blocks of color, something granular or detailed could help you out. I don't know if you see my cursor. We have something from like the Homestead Act. So, you know, ideas formulating in my head already, such as, I don't know, if this just tells like a historical or heritage story, or if it's a flavor description, you know. And then we also craft words. Words are important. This one was from our homestead to yours. But yeah, that's kind of how the mood board works for those of you.
So then yesterday we demonstrated how do we take this and then start slapping it on some sort of touch point.
Okay, break point.
Sure.
All right, because I just don't want to let these go. So first of all, hello Gabby, hello San Francisco, hello India, Oklahoma, Brazil, New Amsterdam.
Whoa.
And yes, Christina's beyond amazing. Now for the question. First question, Kevin's asking, and we kind of touched on this yesterday, how to make a good portfolio. So the thing I said yesterday was less is more. If it's a choice between showing 10 projects or 10 photos or 10 things, and 7 of them are amazing and 3 are just okay, take the 3 that are just okay out. Because then you just look like you're amazing, because that's all people see.
Yeah.
And Aaron, you had some comments on that.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, that's a great point. I mean, all it takes is like one bad piece in your portfolio, because what it tells a potential employer is you think that that's good work.
Right. Yeah.
And so that creates like a red flag for me as an employer, because
I'm using that from now on,
right?
because I never thought of it that way.
Because I don't want that to be something I would show my client, and you're demonstrating you think that's at a certain level. So
And on the photography side, what tends to happen is there's a photo that you're thinking back to the photo shoot and all the things that were happening behind the scenes, and maybe you gelled with the subject, or you were just standing in some amazing place, but the photo itself is really not telling all that, and you're in love with the memory, but not the photo. And therefore, people are just looking at the photo. They don't have that memory. They don't have all the stuff that went on to make it happen.
Right.
And therefore, that makes it look like you're not as good as you really are.
I think going back to the portfolio question, I think a lot, especially today, what we're going to demonstrate is how to put together a portfolio story or experience for the brand. But it could also double for your website or your Behance page or a client presentation. So these sort of couple and double up on many different ways. So that's what we're going to focus on today, is how do we take the packaging and extend
Here's
it.
another one. I just missed it. Wait, where is it? It scrolled
Don't
on
lose
me.
it.
Don't lose it. Oh, dude, it scrolled way down. Okay, so here it is. Jess is asking, how do you approach designing when a client hands you the description? And you've kind of been doing that. Like you take what they give you as these things must be included, but then you go from there.
Yeah. No, I think it's a partnership. It's a collaboration with the client. They come to you because they have problems. They have needs. If they could design a logo, trust me, they would have designed it and they wouldn't have called you. If they could do packaging, they would have done it themselves. So they're providing information to a certain point. They're really good. Their core competency typically is something else. Building a business or developing a product or enhancing a service. But they don't oftentimes know the creative side, which it makes sense. So that's why they hire individuals, freelancers, studios, agencies. And what we need to do is we're partnering up and trying to solve this problem for them. So yeah, clients are going to come with different levels of information. Some are just, I don't know what to do, can you help me out? To, we have a focused idea. We just need someone to sort of shepherd it and sort of flesh it out. So we run that whole gamut. It's a partnership. So we just want to sort of work in concert and contribute at the levels that they feel it's necessary, and add value to that as well.
And great, and one more, and I'll let you continue because there's a bunch more, and I want you to kind of mix it in. So one more before we let Christine continue with what she was doing, and that is, this is from Joseph, could Aaron and Christine talk about how to take criticism and emotional maturity within critique? Because, no matter what you post or show, someone's going to criticize
Christine might be
it.
able to answer this because I'm pretty critical. I made people cry, not intentionally. But, so I think...
Yeah, no.
How do you take criticism?
I mean, you can't take it personally, to be honest. These are professionals and other creatives giving their opinion. So, I mean, I think it's like you can't really have this ego, because you're not going to learn anything if you don't learn to listen to everyone else.
Yeah, critiques aren't coming
yeah.
from a personal place. They're coming from a place to try to improve, enhance, to refine. And so sometimes you get so emotionally connected to something, and someone says, "Oh, it's not that good," that it's sort of like a sock to the gut sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like to hear it, but it's like
no one likes to hear it.
But if you take it from the perspective that it's constructive criticism, and that it's only intended to improve and make the product or the whatever you're working on better, that's the optimistic way to look at it.
And I have just a comment in general about internet criticism, and that is, you know, again, you post a project and people are going to love it, people are going to hate it, people are going to be indifferent, no matter what it is. So if you're one of those people that are looking at someone's work and they posted something and they did not say, "Hey, what do you think?" then if you have this long list of criticism, do it offline, do it in private, do it with a DM.
Do it internally.
Don't post under it all the things you think they should have done when they didn't ask you. If they asked, that's a different story. You're go for it. But if they didn't ask, nothing makes it worse for someone than to see a bunch of criticism that they didn't ask for. Negative criticism, or you might call it constructive. But if you're not going to praise it, if you're not going to say it's good, you're not going to say it's okay, then just don't say anything, or say it privately.
Yep. It's not good.
I have this analogy. I'm really into sports, and so when I hire people, I like to hire people who actually are athletic sometimes. I mean, Christine played basketball. I played basketball, and there's something about it. And I have an analogy. I remember I used to play a lot of basketball growing up. I was really competitive, and after I graduated college, I started playing basketball on just pickup courts, like in the park. And I remember one time I was telling the guy, like, you need to play defense because we were losing. And he got upset and he said, "I'm just here with my family, just hanging out." And I realized I ruined his day.
See, that's just it, right?
And so I realized that if I wanted to play basketball at the level that I like to play, I need to play in a forum where everyone else wanted to play at that same level.
Right.
So I played in leagues, and when I tell that guy on my team, "You need to play defense," he didn't take it personally. He was like, "Yeah, we're trying to win this game." So same thing with design. Is I want to have designers who are really motivated and passionate and want to improve their craft. And so when I say we can do better on that logo, or you need to play better defense, as an analogy, they don't take it personally. They're like, "Yeah, I want to make it better."
Exactly. And you are broadcasting it to the rest of the team when you're talking to that one person, hopefully.
Right. So if I'm working with that designer who's like, "I'm just hanging out with my family at the park and I don't need to be pushed," it's like that doesn't really work in our environment because we're constantly pushing each other. I'm not the only one pushing.
That's great.
Everyone is pushing each other to sort of elevate.
And everyone can be better at whatever it is they're doing. That's not the point. The point is there's a time and a place. All right. Continue.
Cool. Great questions.
Yeah. Cool.
So you want to, so we were talking about mood boards, and so yesterday, day 2, if you haven't seen it, we're demonstrating how do we take the information from the brief, the client brief, the research, and we do these little brandscapes. So we demonstrated one, we did a couple yesterday, but we took one and we started to flesh it out. But like when we do this internally at Farm Design, we oftentimes narrow it down about 8 of these sort of brandscapes. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but we throw stuff against the wall, and we do quick little moves. We don't spend a lot of time. So a lot of these brandscapes that, do you have the actual brand? Yeah, we showed the brandscape.
Yeah, we
take about 15, 20 minutes, and then we start slapping here. If you watched yesterday, Christine knocked out, I don't know, a bunch of these.
Yeah, like 100.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, it's like quick moves, using found artifacts, and then with not the intention of using that artifact, it's just grabbing the essence of why it might work or not work, and then we're going to craft something that sort of capture that same sort of essence.
Yeah, and even like yesterday when I was just giving my candid just open feedback, it was I like this one, not I hate that one, because that goes without saying. It's like not necessarily that goes without saying, but if there's one I like, let's talk about that one.
Yeah.
Let's deal with those as opposed to the ones that maybe I'm not as passionate about.
So we had these. This is where we started off.
Yep. And I see what you did there when you guys collaborated on the Wilder.
Yeah, so we were
in the middle there.
Kind of playing. This is when we were using our Adobe
number 6
library.
Yeah, if you go back up to 6, delete the Wilder there in the middle.
Oh yeah, this is where we were, and everyone liked it. I think it was maybe the shape.
Yeah,
that
I don't know
giving.
what it was,
It was
that
distinctive.
I liked.
Yeah.
It was just,
It was distinctive, and I think one of the explorations from the shape explorations you did
Yeah.
initially, which is black and white shapes. Terry, you said you
Yeah.
liked one, and it was sort of that
Yeah.
You like
that
this?
I like
diamond
that
shape,
one. That
right?
number- yeah, that
So
number
it was
4.
born from something that literally took probably 30 seconds. But it's that big 10,000 foot in the air perspective. What is that thing that captures your attention that's distinctive?
And
it's a big move.
sometimes,
It's
yeah,
a big
sometimes I
shapes.
caught myself saying, I like that, but I don't know why.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it was
I don't
probably
know
the most
why I like
incomplete
it,
one.
but I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we grabbed that one. The audience liked 6, but we realized there's obviously something missing here.
Obviously.
And so
yeah.
we threw some other ideas. So we grabbed some found
Artifacts.
logos again. And this one's copper kettle. We found it was in our artifacts folder.
Right, and I didn't like that until you swapped it out with the stamp instead of the Smith Company.
Right.
Yeah.
So and then we were here. So when I'm about to refine, I went over a couple of more foundational things, just having, the basic information that's going to go on the bottle. And then we talked about, kind of just typing everything out, so you can compare your fonts, and then maybe some tertiary fonts. But having them all there, just easy access, so you don't have to key in something, delete something, key in something again. But just keep them all there for your reference.
I like to call them plain pieces. You got to get all your plain pieces on the board. So don't wait. Don't wait and just sort of piecemeal it together. Just get everything there. It's at your disposal. It's quick access. It's efficient.
So this is when we were starting to refine or craft some brand elements. Aaron did a quick WS.
We started throwing the type. We were concerned with some scale issues, and so towards the right
then
was
we're
when
like-
things started to
And then maybe
materialize.
we were like, maybe gray doesn't have that, that taste appeal. Doesn't look as yummy or refreshing.
Here's a question that either has been asked a couple times or comes up with different variations. And it's basically, do you discuss or show your decisions with friends or family, or just keep it on the team? Like, do you get outside opinions, I guess is basically the question.
You ever heard the saying, too many cooks in the kitchen?
Yeah.
You got to be careful. I think how you manage that information, if you're good at managing that information, you can field, solicit other people's opinions. But some people are not good at sort of, it creates more confusion for them.
Okay.
So I think it depends on the individual. I have certain people that I trust. My wife is fantastic. She has a great eye. So I sort of share stuff with her, and she has this track record. I think she has like 90%. She almost always picks the concept that our client picked. It's crazy. So I'll go home when we're ready the night before a presentation. I'll share it with my wife. She'll look at it, and she has a really good gut feeling about things. She'll pick one, and then I'll come home or to the office the next day, and everyone wants to know, what did your wife pick? Because that's typically what the client picks.
Right.
It's crazy. It's uncanny. But
well,
You
that's
pick my
great, yeah.
concept.
yeah. No, opinions are
but yeah.
important. I think.
Well, I think, and to add to that, I think it's also opinions you trust.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't ask my next door neighbor for design advice, because that's not what they do. But
Yeah.
if there was someone out there, for me, photography advice that I look up to as a photographer, then absolutely I would ask their advice, even though it has nothing to do with like they're not in on that particular project.
Yeah. I like individuals who don't always just say I love it.
Oh,
Like,
right.
So I
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
want to ask my mom, do you like this? Because she's like, oh honey, it looks great.
It looks great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to field it with people who can be critical.
Yep.
And say I don't like it because of this, and that is incredible information. I want that information. I don't like yes people. Yeah, I like people who challenge.
Absolutely.
Yep. So this is where we left off yesterday, and then yesterday we refined. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, so we were working hard for you guys. So after we left yesterday, went back to the
I
hotel
see-
room, and we were.
I'm
we were
looking at your
jamming.
screen. I already see some stuff over there.
We were
Yeah.
jamming on some stuff, so we refined it. We were working on more of the granular details. When we first started, it was just big moves, big shapes, getting the big elements and message points across. And then I think we got a nice foundation when we left yesterday.
So
and
we're
then
kind of in this area yesterday.
yeah, and then we started going into the little
And then
details. So
started refining.
zoom in on that guy. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you can. So we're
Yeah.
exploring different
So I was
things.
exploring, some line work and more granular, detailed things.
Ooh.
And we kind of
Wow.
with this, and then
When did you find the time?
right after.
Right after.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Probably.
You know how fast she is.
I
She
was
did it
gonna say,
like in less than 30 minutes.
Like
It
on
was
the way
like
between here and the door.
Yeah.
Just
On my
took,
Uber
like,
ride
15
back.
seconds, yeah.
But yeah,
Like those
so
look
we
like
kinda-
finished products at this point.
Yeah, so we kind of wanted to flesh it out so today that we could go more in depth of how to like present it.
Yeah.
Let's zoom in a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can start to see, like we had just a rectangle box where the flavor call out, the honey mulberry.
Right.
You know, so we like to add little details, little embellishments. We fleshed out some of the shapes on the wilder shrub sort of. We talked about maybe it needs a monogram up there as opposed to a logo because there's just way too much type.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
that, again, with the Smith thing, that's what one of the things that was bothering me with that particular
Right.
type treatment at the bottom.
There's just too many stylized,
Yeah.
Exactly.
words.
Right.
So we simplified and went with the monogram up top. So we sort of fleshed that out. So you can see, it's all about the little details.
Yeah.
So we started to like this.
And see, at first, I didn't really care for that ghosted image in the background going down
Yeah.
into the orange bar. Now I like it. What
It
else
kind
you've
of
done
like
to it.
ties
Yeah.
in the white with the orange.
Right.
So it's kind of nice little detail.
It creates also like another layer of color, so we can thread some of that color. It's almost like a tertiary color in the background, and we sort of thread that towards the top in the little corners.
And
so.
even the little, what is that on the black stripe at the top? Is that little accent? That? The leaf?
Little-
Yeah, a little leaf, a
Leaf.
little organic sort of element, and you can see we have a little embellishment on that little
It's
sort
all
of.
about the
Yeah.
details.
Yeah, and you can see here instead of we just had a line,
Yeah.
and we curved
Curved
that
it off,
line
yeah.
to sort of emulate some of the other shapes. But so that was all little micro details.
Right.
We do that last.
Yeah.
So and we were really comfortable with this. So we settled on this. We made a decision. This is what we're going to
So
go
this
with.
is
That one's
the-
rocking.
Yeah.
This was just me kind of refining my templates.
So looking at different
great color choices and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, because normally it's not just a singular SKU or singular product.
Right.
Oftentimes there's a line extensions. You want to be able to scale the product, and so in this case there's probably going to be multiple flavors.
Okay.
And so how do you demonstrate that? How do you articulate that visually to a consumer who's just walking down the aisle? How do you catch their attention? So color is really powerful. There's a series of cognition in terms of how people sort of translate things. The first thing that they see is shape. So shapes are really important. So big shapes that are indelible. The second thing in the series of cognition is color. And the third thing, the last thing, is details or type.
Wait, so do that one more time.
Sure.
Number 1,
Shape,
number 2,
color,
and number 3.
type.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it was shape because that was the one that
Right.
you were
Yeah, you picked the
attracted
shape.
to.
So we went
Yeah.
with the shape, and that's why we did just big shape moves. There's a great saying, like a lot of the illustration houses like DreamWorks or Disneyland or what they understand that shape's really important in sort of licensing and marketing a lot of their products. So think about Mickey Mouse. You saw the silhouette, you would know that's Mickey Mouse. If
Exactly,
you saw the silhouette of Shrek, you would know that's Shrek. And it's because of the shapes. It's the details are later. So they understand that trying to create something that's indelible to a consumer, it's not about the details, it's about that big shape thing. So
Yeah.
think about all the most iconic
The Nike swoosh. You know,
yeah,
you
it's-
know
it's
what it
the
is.
shape.
You don't have to see any text.
then
You don't have
color.
to see anything else. You don't have to see a
type.
color.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, and no matter what color it is, you know what it is. Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that we can extend this line here, and colors really is that second thing was really powerful.
Yeah.
And it can also sort of start to set expectations for the consumer in terms of what that flavor appeal might be, or that. So we liked this, and then from
Yeah.
that we took it to
So
another
yeah,
step.
I kind of just want to show them a quick. So the way I had set up my files, I always like to think ahead in terms of like, the final product sometimes, just so when I'm designing, it'll cut that time off in half. So I had it in a clipping mask, but when you unclip it, I had already set it to with a guide for my smart objects in my render, just so that I can just easily copy and paste and scale to the size of it. And that's just organization and efficiency.
So 2 things from Tanya. Y'all are effing awesome. And
Tanya.
she says like the Coke bottle shape. Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want me to show them.
Show
real
the
quick.
final render of this.
yeah.
So we rendered this out based on. So someone asked yesterday. We were working in Illustrator. Like, why are you working in Illustrator, not Photoshop?
Yeah. By the way, wasn't just here. That question came up like all throughout the day.
It's just, in Illustrator, well, whatever you're comfortable with.
Whatever you're
is what
comfortable
we
with,
said.
right?
And, Illustrator, for me, I can move quicker in it. But with Photoshop now, you do have the choice to do multiple artboards, but I think the size still gets a little big, your file size. So
in our world, we're designing, but then we also have to execute it to mechanical stage for printers to sort of see the project through. So I like to design where I'm killing two birds with one stone. So we're not only designing, but we're also getting the production file set up. So when the client says that's approved, it's ready to go, we don't have to recreate it again. So if you're building it in Photoshop and the client approves it and you need to print that label, you want to have all the type and everything sort of crystallized. So it's better in vector form and having everything sort of be able to you can isolate, the printer can sort of select everything and sort of create layers and film for each one. So Illustrator is better for that. So we design in the format that we're going to use for production, for mechanicals, when we hand it off to the next vendor. Otherwise, if we did this in Photoshop, we'd have to recreate it in Illustrator.
So, I can show you, this is the blank template that we get off of Yellow Images, but you can also use the Adobe stock for template or packaging templates. What's great
And
about
Project Felix, you were sharing,
Yeah.
how you can do a lot of renders from that as well. So there's a lot of great resources out there where you can do these sort of mock-ups.
Yeah, so this is from Yellow Images, and this is kind of how it's set up.
Photoshop's getting some love. Just kidding.
Oh, we love Photoshop.
No, I love it.
I'm just messing with
Got its
you
time
out
and
there.
place.
It's like, why not Photoshop?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in Photoshop. Calm down.
Getting some but yeah, it's great because they have your highlights and shadows. You can change like cap colors, like that. And then you have your highlights. Your highlights and shadows on the caps that you can adjust.
And I think I see a lot of students when they try to render something out, they take the art and they put it on top of the form. In this case, it's a bottle or a box, and they do a multiply, which is great. But the thing that they're missing is the highlights. So you need that highlight over the top to sort of give it that extra
depth,
shape and dimension, that depth. So I can oftentimes tell when it's a render or it's a mock-up. I think a good render is when you can't tell.
And see, I think that's where Project Felix helps a lot because it's taken into account for lighting. And that dimension. That
Lighting is so
dimensionality,
important. I think the key is you want to get your level of presentation to that point where someone can't tell if it's a render or a photograph. Is it actually produced or is it just a concept?
And you were giving me compliments even though you didn't realize it when I was showing you my photography and you were like, wow, where'd you shoot that? And I'm like, oh no, that was in studio. It was a composite.
Yeah.
So, when you can't tell, I'm like thrilled.
Because I can tell if they mocked up like their perspective is off, or if the shadow's not right. Like, wait, the light's coming from this, but the shadow's going the wrong. Like,
there are always some dead giveaways that people miss. Yeah.
So like with a trained eye, or even if a non-trained eye, your mind's eye can see like that doesn't look right, and you kind of get those like that dog ear thing where you're like,
I've learned. I've been doing compositing for a while now, but I've learned as I'm doing newer ones. I look to see if I can tell. Like, I look for little things.
Yeah.
Okay, would it, like, for example, the model had goggles on. Of course, that would be reflecting the sky. But would it be an exact mirror image? Probably not.
Right.
Will it be dimmed down a little bit, or as bright as the sky, be dimmed down? So you have to think about how would it really look if it were really shot in that location.
So when I'm on Behance and I'm looking at people's portfolios and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Is that real? And when I can't tell, then I know that designer has got something. I'm like, and so we're always trying to what I call don't reveal the man behind the curtain. I think it's a Wizard of Oz sort of metaphor. It's like,
and so when people were asking earlier about like getting outside advice or whatever, that's an okay thing to get outside advice on from anyone, because you can say, hey, look at this. Does this look like it was really there?
Yeah.
Or really on this bottle or really in this location? And if they see something that looks off or out of place, then you know you got to go fix it, because that's the untrained eye not really looking for it.
Yeah. I can't go any further, Terry. I'm sorry. I see a comment here. This Adam Fox.
Okay, go ahead.
He said, I think Aaron is on point, but for some reason I can't trust him with that Dodgers hat on. Those are fighting words. So I'm representing. They're number one in the major leagues right now. So.
But here's the thing. It's got like the green camo background, so it's semi-transparent. So just put whatever logo in there you want, and you'll have the right hat.
No,
Yeah.
Keep it LA. Yeah, but so we're at,
Yeah.
so we don't have enough time to sort of flesh out this stuff. So we took the design. Christine is going to show you how we render it out real quick,
Yeah,
and then
just like,
we're gonna transition
like a
into.
quick-
Otherwise, we're not going to be able to
Yeah.
share some cool stuff with you
Okay, I'll
guys.
do this real quick. I'll just pull like a random.
And Kevin, Paul's the portfolio guy, so he does the portfolio checks on his sections.
So I opened the smart object, and this is the same template.
Oh no, you've started a baseball
I know.
thing.
Let's
Yeah,
like.
here we
I
go.
know.
It was like Mac versus
Yeah,
PC.
yesterday
No,
it
we
was
can't.
Mac
We're not
versus
going
PC.
there.
Today it's baseball.
We're not going there.
Come on. So I opened up the smart objects, placed an image, and then it'll just appear with your highlights and shadows. So that's something simple.
So we did this with the art.
So we did this with the other flavors.
All right, so Helen's asking a question, and this might be more of a Christine question.
zoom
How
in
do you
on that
find
guy.
your path in design when you like doing everything from Illustrator to Photoshop to Dreamweaver to After Effects? Like you just like it all. How do you decide?
How do I decide?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important to know those things as a designer. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about like Dreamweaver or anything.
Well, I guess
but-
she's asking more from the standpoint she likes it all. So how do you pick a discipline?
I don't know. I guess it would depend like what you're interested in. Like if you're packaging, I assume you would have to know how to learn how to use, your Illustrator, your Photoshop, the main ones. And if you want, there's like rendering. I think it's like what your passion is.
Right. I agree. I think it's
Yeah.
where your passion is. Also, there's nothing wrong with liking a lot of things, especially if you have clients that are willing to pay you to do all those kinds of things.
Because that again goes back to you being an asset to whoever.
Right, because
you're-
then you become that one person stop. They can get the stills from you, the flat designs, the package designs, the videos, the animation. So the website, if you like doing it all, great.
Yeah.
But it really will depend on where your passion is, what your clients are willing to pay you for, and where you think, even though you like it all, what do you think you're best at? Because it's hard to be best at all of it.
Yeah.
So I would maybe stick to what drives you and what you think you're best at.
I know it really well.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the render, and I'll zoom in on some of the details. You see here adding, your simple highlights and shadows of how that label sticker would fall onto the bottle. And this one warps the label. So it's really subtle, but, it makes a total difference, because from the Illustrator one, it was just flat.
Flat, yeah.
So now that you rendered, it kind of goes to like an oblique on the sides slightly.
Which is what it would naturally do.
There's even details like how light reflects on glass is going to be sharper than when it hits like a paper substrate or a label. That light is diffused and it's softer, so you can see this transition of a nice sharp line here, the highlight transition on the glass, but once it hits the label, you can see how it's softened here. So all those little details, you may or may not know it, but those are the things that your eye picks up. And so I think really good design is in the detail.
Yeah, agreed.
So this is where we settled. This is what we settled on in terms of the brand, the package system for Wilder Shrub Company. So what today is we're gonna demonstrate how do we take the brand artifacts and the brand elements and build out a brand system for this company. And I think this is important because a lot of brands typically aren't just a singular logo. It has to have complexity to it to sort of articulate its personality, its character. And then that's what consumers really connect with and have an emotional connection. That's how you build a tribe, is building that sort of that emotional connection with the brand.
Yeah.
So we're going to demonstrate how do you sort of build that personality beyond just that pretty picture up front.
And I can't wait to see.
Yeah. So you want to show the front end of that, and then I'm going to show some demonstration.
Like the final.
Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah. Something's missing. It's okay. Let me link it. So from the first episode that we did, we kind of went over some of our portfolio pieces. So this is a typical exercise that I do just to brainstorm on a possible layout. Again, oops, sorry.
Yeah, just
Again,
telling you about a new feature.
Adobe stuff. Again, laying out simple shapes and then just using words to dictate what you're going to place. So
Okay, and I know this question's in someone's head, so I'll ask it. So now you're in InDesign.
I'm in InDesign.
Why InDesign versus Illustrator artboards or Photoshop artboards?
For this one, I think it's because I'm using more. I think there's more type in this
Right,
one.
and this came up yesterday. So when I asked you about InDesign, you said it's more for when
page
you're doing
layout.
page layout and
Yeah, it's a strength.
type heavy projects.
Yeah.
So more, definitely more type. And I guess it depends how you want to lay it out. But this one kind of works for us, just to do again something quick.
Yeah.
Because Photoshop does take a little more time using, your
Because it was never designed for page layout.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, then once you get like a quick a sense of what you're gonna do, then maybe you can just take it into Photoshop.
You would have a massive file that you're going to be throwing around if you're building this in Photoshop.
Exactly.
So
That's
it's not
that's another
as
consideration.
easily manageable.
Right.
So size is always important because if it's big, it'll slow down your computer. I don't know, it could crash. Just to prevent, those things, the obstacles you'll run
Okay,
into.
and Kevin's asking, how do you make a good brand style guide? What's inside and how's it structured? And you guys have been pretty much doing
I think
that.
we can come back to that. I'd love to share something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll jump back to that when Christine's sort of in the weeds and sort of building this thing out. So let's come back to that.
Fair enough.
And we'll demonstrate that. Who asked that question?
That was Kevin.
Kevin.
Okay, remember.
Boy, Kevin's active. Good for you, man. All right, so we'll come back to that, Kevin. We'll share something.
Yeah.
But you'll notice, and I think if you guys have been paying attention, you'll see how organized Christine is. Everything has its place. Mm-hmm. She has a system where she takes one logical step to the next logical step. And she's not like bouncing all over the place. And that's a way to be really efficient in what you guys are doing. So there's certain best practices. And it does take practice to sort of learn and how to get there. But by watching this video and just seeing how her workflow is, you can start to see how you can stay organized, how you can stay focused, and how you can be efficient with your time.
Yeah, she's really, really good.
Yeah, so this is she lays these sort of...
So I lay them out super quick. I have hero shot, maybe there's the title of whatever we're designing, a little description that I'm thinking, maybe there's like a logo mark that I'm going to place here, and then maybe, a touch point. I think the whole purpose is, instead of just putting, the logo on one beverage, how can we make the brand scalable, and what other touch points are possible? So then in my brain, I'm starting to think like, okay, what other touch points are there? Is there a carrying case? Is there going to be a lifestyle shot?
So you're just thinking
points.
about, you're just dropping some of your thoughts
ideas.
down on it, and then you it's almost like a wireframe for a website
much.
almost. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you scroll down, still pretty rough, but then, I'm like, okay, maybe I have a hero shot of the 3 bottles right there. A little more specific.
Here it comes.
Starting to,
Starting to-
And
Again.
these were images
Right.
from like my brief.
Yeah.
I'm
right.
like, okay, maybe this could work. It kind of has like an essence to it. And then maybe the bottle there, and then another artifact.
Yeah, so she's refining and sort of taking that next step. She's scaffolding her thoughts and ideas to continue to progress. And so this is, sort of the stage where we're at today. We're going to take that wilder shrub sort of packaging and branding identity, and we're going to skin it on this, and that's what we're going to work on today. So while Christine is going to start that, I'm going to demonstrate why we think that's important.
Okay.
So if you want to jump to my screen,
All right.
Terry.
You want to? I can keep them both up, or you just want to do yours?
Let's
do yours.
Let's jump to mine.
Focus on it.
Right.
So we shared this on day one, which is Bivouac. It's a cider company in San Diego. They're going to be launching later this year. It's still work in progress on a lot of items. But this is a demonstration of that very same thing that Christine just demonstrated, is we're taking this sort of format and we're fleshing it out, sort of telling a full brand story. So what we have now with Wilder Shrub is we have the bottle. And so in lieu of this sort of can, that's where the bottle is. But we don't stop there. We want to sort of build out a robust sort of dialogue and brand experience for the consumer. So this can be utilized for, and this is actually a presentation we did for the client. So the client can sort of wrap their head around the possibilities. We shared 6 or 8 different concepts on this. But you can start to see that it's not just the package. We're looking at artifacts like logos, secondary marks. What are the other touch points that this brand might have? In this case, it would be, sort of a beer glass, maybe coasters that might be on the bar. We fleshed out what interior of the restaurant might look like. We looked at shelf sets.
Saw that. That was cool.
Yeah, so these are sort of, this is the presentation, but, it almost could go in your portfolio or your Behance page, but it's not just showing a singular thing that you designed. That's the way I used to do it. The client would come to me.
Here's the logo.
Yeah, design a logo, and I want it on this box.
Yeah.
And then in my portfolio, guess what I show? I showed the logo and then on the box.
Right.
And it was just as simple as that.
Yeah.
But there's so much more in complexity and more depth that you can add in being able to
Now,
tell a story.
Let's say your client does come to you and say those exact things. Hey, I want a logo and I want it on this box. Mm-hmm. Today, do you just give them what they want, or do you show them more possibilities?
Yeah, I ask a lot more questions because I want to understand why. I want to understand what their business model is, how they're doing business, where they are, what are their success and failures, why are they even calling on me? Because I know they have some sort of pain points, and I want to be able to sort of solve those pain points. So in order to do that, I really need to sort of get under the hood of their business and what they're doing and what their needs are. So oftentimes it'd be like, well, maybe it isn't a box that you need. Based on what I'm hearing from you, maybe you need these other touch points that might be more valuable to your brand and its ability to grow. And so that comes from experience and understanding the business side of design and not just focusing on the design side of design. So asking a lot of questions and trying to understand what their needs are. For me, it used to be a client would call and they say, hey, I have this business and I need a logo. And my gut thing would be, what color do you think? What fonts? I'm immediately talking design.
Right.
That's evolved a lot since that. Now that same person calls like, hello, I need a logo. And I'm like, tell me about your business. Do you have it in the market space? What is your success? What is your price points? I'm asking a lot of business questions, trying to understand how they do business and how I can bring value to that. So it's not about, hey, what font, what colors, what styles. That's part of the dialogue at some point.
Very important.
But I want to learn as much as possible so I can bring value to this beyond just designing a pretty picture.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, again, this is presentations style, and Christine's going to build this out with the Wilder Shrub. Again, that this thing can work for client presentations, your website, your portfolio. I think there's a lot of value, and that's what we're gonna demonstrate today. I think we talk about when we're doing the brandscapes. There's a lot of, we want to build a lot of sort of visual vocabulary, textures, colors, fonts on there. So we can take those elements, even though we may not use it on that package. We might be able to use that on the website, and we might be able to use it on the box. So we want to build this sort of robust sort of graphic toolbox that we can draw from, and then we can apply it to multiple things to sort of build out that personality. So from Bivouac, they picked, I'm going to do a quick recap of which one they picked.
And while you're looking for that, it sounds like a lot of what you're doing is around packaging, package design, so forth and so on. How much of your work, if any, is mobile, websites, other mediums, video? Because someone's asked a question about, like, would you ever put an animation in a package just like
ultimately we get clients who ask for all of those things. Eventually they're they're gonna want a website. It's like it's hard to do business today without having a website, and having a website that's responsive and mobile. So oftentimes they may come to you for just a logo or a package, but then it constantly, if you build rapport with the client, you provide value, they're almost always going to come back to you and say, oh, now we need a brochure, a marketing brochure, or we need a website. So then it comes down to us, do we want to do that? We're not, we get a lot of, almost majority of our clients ultimately ask us to do their website, especially for startups. We are not a web design house.
I know what you mean when you say that.
But I'm passionate about design, but I honestly, I really hate doing the back end of websites. Right. It doesn't excite me at all. But if it's a client that we really enjoy working with, and it's a brand that we really want to see through, we'll do that. We try to extend, but we really want to stay focused on our core competency. And our core competency is, in Farm Design's case, it's building brands, brand systems. We'll never become a web design house because that doesn't motivate me, doesn't get me out of bed. It's not our core competency.
So at that point, is that either okay, we'll bring in the talent to do it in-house because you're our client, we'll farm it out, or we'll say no?
Exactly. I'm normally very transparent. I'll say on some projects we can do it internally. Sometimes the client doesn't need to know. They just want to make sure their problems go away. They don't care how you do it. If you bring another agent in, if it's done in-house or out-of-house. But I'm very transparent. If they want to know, I'll tell them. And if we can do it in-house, that's great. If we farm out the back end of, say, a website, I'll say we have valued partners that we work with, and we'll manage them. You don't have to worry about it. And sometimes they ask if we can do copywriting. And we don't have any copywriters in-house. We're really good at sort of crafting sort of high-level copy, sort of headline copy. So those are certain things where I can potentially say we can bring in a copywriter. Or we just say, yeah, we can do it, and we just hire someone behind the scene. It depends on what the client is. So here is the fleshed out version of what Bivouac potentially can be. But you can see that we developed a bunch of artifacts, textures, and colors that can, and imagery and logos. We have primary logos, secondary logos, tertiary logos that we can sort of continue to draw from to build out this system. And that's what we're going to do with the wild or sparkling shrub, is we're going to build out a system just beyond that label we did on the bottle. The importance of that is the client, based on that packaging, they had other needs. So recently they had a need for, because they're going to have a restaurant, a tasting room as it's called, they want to have retail items to help sort of build that experience for consumers. They come in that they can extend that brand experience because they fall in love with their cider or that experience. So based on that, we put together this presentation of what potential retail items might be for that Bivouac, which is a cider company. So their whole company is based on discovery, and it's a lifestyle type of brand. So we curated certain products that would sort of align with who their consumer is. Someone active, possibly outdoors. So, drinking bottles, backpacks. We're creating brand voice here in case this one says "Embrace your adventure." Sort of little carabiners for your keychains, little camper mugs, little ceramic camper mugs. You'll see artifacts that we. Zoom in here.
Reverb mic. I'm thirsty just looking at that package.
Yeah. Oop.
And Tanya said, thanks for speaking out about your core competencies. She was starting to feel a little overwhelmed, and she can say no.
Yeah, it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Better to say no and be upfront than to say yes and not be able to deliver.
Yeah. Don't be a yes person.
Yeah.
So you can start to see here with potential retail items that it's not just a logo slap. So it's not we're just taking that Bivouac logo we designed and we're just sticking it on hats and T-shirts and mugs. It's we're building this sort of robust sort of toolbox of graphics and elements that can continue to grow and be organic, and it can constantly grow. So here we have a bunch of different T-shirts and sort of message points. You can start to see some of the artifacts.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Here we have.
Is that gold?
Yeah, it can be printed gold on a shirt. We have the sort of little brand logo with the apple knot sort of here with the BC standing for Bivouac Cider Works. Here is sort of a little notepad, sort of like field notes. If you're traveling, you can put it like a little diary. So we had an illustrator at Farm. She, like what would that sort of discovery be like? Embrace your adventure.
Yeah, you made that?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. I got
We'll jump to her screen.
I got
She's doing
distracted by
she's doing
something
cool
cool
stuff,
here.
right?
And I was just like, what? Get out. Did you just make that?
Yeah, so it's like being able to extend the brand voice. That's what we're going to demonstrate today. Is don't just stop with designing that logo or that package or that website. It's like, how do you extend that brand experience? And that's what we try to do at Farm Design, is make it a system that can grow and scale and allow people to connect with it. I think of like trying to create something that people want to share. We live in this world of sort of this technology we want to share things on Instagram. We want to be the first ones to know about it and get excited about sharing it. So building sort of, especially with branding, extending that experience and allowing sort of their consumers or their tribe, providing them with information that they can share, they can post, is really powerful for brand. Because it's way more powerful for one of their customers to say, I love this brand for this reason, as opposed to the brand saying, we're the best brand for this reason.
Cool.
So we can jump. So that's what we're doing today, and we can jump back to. That's pretty cool. We can jump back to Christine's screen, which is she's been working on some stuff. She's sort of filling in the gaps on that template that she just showed, and she's going to demonstrate some of the techniques that we use to sort of flesh it out. Again, we use. We're not photographers at Farm Design, so we try to shoot stuff, and if it doesn't look good, then we're like, forget it, we're out. We're pretty competent at rendering things out. Yeah. There's so many great resources online.
That stamp just looks so cool.
Like that stamp, we took the mark.
Yeah. No, wait. Turn off the layer for the stamp on the gold. That's what threw me when I first saw that. Yeah, just turn the layer off for this.
I don't even remember how I did that.
Yeah, you just had it a second ago. Yeah, I was like, I saw that. I was like, wait, did you just make that?
Yeah, it's I don't know if you guys use Graphic Burger, but I mean some of them are free, so I would take advantage. Something as simple as it's sweet. Literally a smart object that you place and save. So why not?
Yeah,
take advantage. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is still working. So we have the bottles shown up here.
Tanya's asking you, Aaron, have you written a book?
You should write a book.
I barely read. Have I written a book? No, I have not written a book.
But you could.
Maybe a really short one.
Dude, you could.
Someone just transcribe what I say?
Over the 3 days, you've written most of that book already.
You need a copywriter. That's it.
Well, that's flattering.
What am I gonna
Thank you, whoever said that. Maybe
I should. Tanya.
I need a ghostwriter. Someone can write it for me.
Tanya's a fan for sure.
Cool. So I'm looking for like a standard guideline. When I find one, then we'll share. Because I think was it Kevin, Josh,
Kevin.
One of them. Kevin's asked a million questions, which
Kevin.
is great. So maybe it's Kevin. I'm looking for a brand guideline for you. I haven't found one yet.
Everyone's saying I'd buy it. I'd buy it.
Cool.
There's music playing. We can't hear music.
There's music playing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's really quiet.
What kind of music is it? They jamming. Everyone's jamming out.
Let's see what's on right now.
I'm curious. What do you guys listen to when you guys work? Because everyone in my office has headphones on, and so I never know what they're listening to.
Here, check it out.
Is it like?
You can barely hear it.
Is it like soft elevator music?
No. Different styles. Background music.
Yeah. Country-ish or something. A little twang to it. Let me see.
Elevator music. Nicole says, elevator music.
Muzak.
Hi, Nicole. Is that my coat?
Why isn't Nicole working? She's busy chatting. Nicole's one of our rock stars at Farm Design. She's chatting on the box.
Oh, Nicole's busted.
Yeah, she's busted.
Sorry.
We left some people back in the
Sorry.
office to work, but apparently
I
they're
didn't know
just...
it was you, Nicole. I wouldn't have shouted out your name. Wait, what's Nicole doing here?
Yeah, we're going to have a meeting when we get back to the office, Nicole. A little reprimand. Okay, for a mood board or a brand.
What was I gonna do? Oh my god, I lost my train of thought.
As far as music choices, people are saying jazz, punk rock and podcast, hard electronic, depends on the mood, instrumental, so it's pretty much all over the map.
Yeah.
She says she's trolling you.
It's like, I listen to punk or something like heavy metal. It's like, it's hard for me to focus.
Yeah,
I think it's
same
different
here.
for everyone, right?
I almost can't listen to music because then I can't, like you said, I can't focus on what I'm doing if the music's
Right.
playing. Yeah.
It's got to be the right type of music.
It would have to be very low volume for me.
What did it say? Like, music's probably, I think, depends on what creative mode I'm in.
And I was going to say, it also depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If I'm retouching, I can have music on. But if I'm typing or writing or
Yeah,
think,
you have to really focus on the
I have
details.
to focus on what
Right.
I'm doing.
Yeah. Reminds me, there's this saying, you what is it? Oh, I think Hemingway said it. You design drinking beer, but you edit coffee.
Nicole's going all out. She says you listen to Britney Spears during work.
All revealing all the secrets.
Nicole.
Yeah.
Nicole. Check adobe.com.
We all have our guilty pleasures.
/careers. We may be hired.
Everyone has guilty pleasures, so don't hate. Britney Spears rocks.
Yeah. Energetic. Yeah, Tanya, I'm right there with you. Rarely do I have music on when I'm working.
Really?
Yeah, rarely. It depends on, because it really depends on what I'm doing. If I'm
Yeah.
concentrating,
different.
typing, I can't have the distraction. But if it's something where I'm just working with the tools and focused on visuals, then I can do it.
Yeah. Is Britney Spears still alive? Yeah, just go to Vegas. She has like a show every night.
Oh, it's turned into a Britney Spears
Oh
thing.
no. We go on these tangents.
Yes.
I apologize. I'm trying to find it. Which one do we do?
All right, so Adam's asking,
brand
he's
guideline,
asking me directly, but I guess it would go for you guys, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. But when it's time to get package printed, do you go to the same vendor or shop for the best price? And I would say it depends.
Yep.
If you got a vendor that you know is the best, and their price might be a little higher, and the client is okay with it, I would go with the vendor you trust. If it's all about price, then you might have to shop it around.
Yeah, we have a bunch of vendors that we work with. We have sort of vendors that are on the inexpensive route, and then we have vendors that are quality.
Right, that's what I said.
Yeah,
It
and
just
so it
really
depends on
depends,
what
yeah.
you're, sometimes you have a client who just is on a shoestring budget, so I'm going to have to go to that vendor who
Right,
can do it on the cheap.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I have those vendors who they want premium, they want letterpress, they want foil stamp. Then I'm going to go with the quality vendors, and you're gonna pay more of a premium for that as well. But yeah, it all depends. Let's see here.
All right, let's see if we got another question in here. I thought I saw one that I was going to ask next. It was something about... Oh, I missed it. All right, let's go back and see if I can find it. Dun, 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 dun. Music, 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 music. Printing prices.
These colors look. You like red?
Red's
All right, if somehow I've missed a question that you really want to answer, feel free to ask it again. Oh, here it is. Kevin asked, what's important when you build a brand story from scratch? That was the one I saw that I missed earlier.
Yeah. I think when we talk about brands, I think things that make it relatable to understand the brand is we give it sort of human characteristics. Or you think like a muse or something. So if you can make the brand relatable and people can relate to human characteristics, they know someone who's like that. And they talk a certain way, they dress a certain way, they act a certain way. A brand or a product is very similar. Mm-hmm. And so when we're developing brand voice, we're trying to sort of convey what that personality might be like with sort of human characteristics. The way they talk, the dialogue that it speaks, is it more slang-like? Is it casual? Is it irreverent? And staying consistent with that is also important. So doing high-level copy dialogue is really important. That stays on brand. Colors, textures, everything is just an extension of the brand, and being cognizant of that. And it's beyond just a logo, which is, to me, it's just that first impression. Okay. It's that aesthetic. We're going to go deeper and have communication with them. So good brand voice is sort of extending it beyond that veneer. We want to get deeper into the soul of the brand. All
right, I'll ask this one question, and I got a question for Christine. Mm-hmm. Transilian is asking, do you prefer working focus for hours or short intervals? For me, it's focus for hours.
Usually focus for hours, just because sometimes when you
break it,
you lose your train of thought. Yeah. So if you can, but do take breaks if you can, because that's important too.
And those breaks are important. Yeah. You walk away from your screen or your monitor, and you come back and you see something completely different. Right.
Yeah.
Right? And so like sleeping on it. I think it's important to give your eye rest, give your brain a rest, and sort of come back with fresh eyes, and you'll start to see it differently. Because sometimes I'll be working on it, I'll not like it, and I'll come back and actually it's pretty good. Or conversely, so I'll think I'm really loving something, I'll sleep on it, I'll come back and be like, whoa, what was I thinking?
Right.
Yeah, so I think...
So there's one more question in the chat, but I got one for Christine, because I saw you a minute ago. You had a very organized system in the Finder, folders, color coordinated, so forth and so on. Mm-hmm. Do you ever use, instead of that method in the Finder, do you ever use Adobe Bridge?
Yes, I do, especially when we work on editorial spreads, and I usually have 2 monitors. Yeah. So I do use Adobe Bridge. It's super helpful. You can see them in little thumbnails, right?
Okay, all right. Yeah. I'm just curious because I saw you had all that organized in Bridge or organized in the Finder. I was just like, does she ever open Bridge? Yeah. And the other question was, I'd like to know more. This is the Adhocracy show. I'd like to know more about what they discussed yesterday about how they have multiple people working on a project and no one person just doing the project. How does that work? So you kind of explained it yesterday.
Yeah.
If we work together.
Like right now you're working together on the same thing, and he was building things and you were dropping them in. But how does that work in the office?
It can be difficult. I think in some environments people, they want to own it so badly, like they don't want anyone coming in and tinkering with it. So I think first of all, it's important to have an environment where everyone is team oriented, that they all know that they're contributing and collaborating on a project. Because without that sort of that going into it with that expectations, then it's probably not going to work. So it has to be everyone has to be on the same page that it's going to be collaborative. Ideally, I like to have designers basically take the lion's share of it because they got to flesh their ideas out. But I think when the collaborative effort starts to come in is certain designers have different skill sets than other designers. And so if we collaborate and we merge all of our sort of superpowers together, we can create something. It sounds like Power Rangers. Take all
Wonder powers.
Right, exactly. Right, activate. Right, form as an awesome creative director. Yeah, but it's so as part of being a creative director, I'm kind of playing coach, and I'm trying to facilitate and orchestrate. Christine is sort of taken a project to about 75% there, but there's certain facets that just aren't materializing. But then I have Nicole, who I'm gonna reprimand when I get back to the office. She might be really good at something, and I'll say, Nicole, add your touch to this, add your pixie dust to this area. And it's part of sort of like, it's like a coach. They're trying to figure out the right formula of who's on the field or who's on the and that's sort of what I do. But you have to be open as a designer to collaborate. And actually, you're going to be much better when you start thinking like that.
Very cool. All right, another question about the just time, and this probably is for Christine or both of you. Do you prefer working focused? Oh, we did that one. There's another one along those lines, though. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Mara's asking, what would you say is the average time you spend designing productively?
That's a Christine question.
Productively was the key word there.
Sorry, can you say it again?
So, sure. What would you say is the average time that you spend designing productively?
Oh my God, it's so hard.
I can tell.
You can noodle on something for hours, but is that productive? You're very quick, so I can't imagine it takes you a lot of time.
Well, productively, I mean, that one also depends, because we do have like the deadline, so that kind of changes everything up. But I always try to work productively. That's kind of like I think that's key.
I've never seen her not being productive. She's always productive.
I think it's important though, because if you think of like
time is money.
Yeah, once you start thinking the business side of things, that's money. So depends on the budget of the client. But if you learn how to work productively, then you should be safe. I think. I don't know if you had anything to add to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think from a business owner, from a creative director's perspective, I understand you sort of ebb and flow. Sometimes you're in that groove and you're just knocking stuff out, and sometimes you get into like a writer's block or whatever you want to call it, creative block.
That's where I am sometimes. With
right, and it happens, and it's fine. So it's
I also have to be in the mood to be productive.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not in the mood to be productive, I can sit there for hours and nothing will happen. But if I'm in the mood, I'll crank stuff out left and right.
Yeah.
So it just really depends.
Yeah. So I think as a creative director, I'm always trying to create an environment and facilitate people it's the culture of the office, or if you're working at home or whatever, you need to find your happy place. Yeah. So I'm always trying to create those environments where people can be creative, but I also understand that they're not always going to be in that zone.
All right.
That's okay.
Along those same lines, I don't consider myself a morning person at all. But I find now, or I've had to admit to myself, I'm better and more productive in the morning.
You're well rested.
Yeah, because if I stay up late, it will take longer. It won't be as good, and I'll make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I'll look at it the next morning. It's like, oh my God, how did I miss this? How did I make that mistake? What about you guys? Morning, afternoon, evening, doesn't matter.
I'm a night guy. Before I started hiring people, I burn the midnight oil. I pretty much work till 2 or 3 in the morning.
I would always say that, and then I would start looking at my work and it's like, you know what? That's better since I waited till the morning.
Yeah, the most clarity and ideas right before you go to bed and right when you wake up.
Maybe that's it.
Right? So I think either one works for it. Depends on if you're a morning or evening person. But I think, there's something about it's more clarity in your mind. Less distractions also. Oh, you know what? I have something here I want to share.
And how do you get over your creative blocks?
I ask the people around me. I think that's the key thing for me.
I gotta go open the door. I'll be right back.
There's no one here.
No worries.
Oh, we running the show now?
Oh,
let's go crazy. Start pushing some buttons over there. What's he doing?
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, the host is gone. The show is ours. Let's do something
Kelly's
fun.
Let's take over now.
Sorry, y'all.
I'll just leave you guys to it.
Okay, this isn't the right size, but we'll maybe cheat it.
Can you, Terry,
sure.
Go to my screen. I want to answer one of Kevin's questions earlier about brand sort of guidelines. So I jumped to our Behance page. This is a project that we just posted. It's called Fit. It's a beauty product inspired by active lifestyle, but it's also, the juicing sort of trend right now. How people, I guess Paul, he's like a juicer. He comes in every day and he's got his fresh juicery or whatever it is. But juicing's like a really popular trend right now. But that's sort of feeding the inside of your body. This client had the idea of nurturing the outside, the external part of your body. So using really fresh, clean, organic products, and this is sort of a topical sort of beauty product. It's called Fit. So they came to us to design this brand. Healthy lifestyle skincare is the tagline. Here's the logo. And so I'm going to share the brand standards and guidelines after this, but this is just the package system that we created for them, the brand system. You can start to see how we curate images, create brand voice, brand taglines, achieve healthy, more granular tagline. Here's the how we ideated the icon. It was based off the F from the logo. We spun it because make it dynamic, and we came up with this really cool shape here. Here's just a mini sort of project sort of guideline here as well, so we can start to see colors and fonts and how we ideated textures. It was inspired by the sort of athleisure lifestyle, with a lot of the textures you would see on sort of running tights, or athleisure is like this big term. So you can see all the patterns, and that's inspired us, that we utilized on the packaging. So based on this, and we also did the website again. This is one of those products where they came to us to do the package and the logo. And based on the process and the experience, we knew that it needed to be much more than that. And so they came to us initially for that singular product, but then we ended up fleshing it out and building that system across business cards and sort of postcards. They eventually hired us to do their website. Okay, so that is what's on Behance, but it's also on our website, farmdesign.net. And then this is the brand guideline. Let me take a look here. Go full screen. Whoops, full screen. Okay. So this is brand guideline. This is version 2.0. There was a version before it. I think a brand guideline can constantly evolve. Terry, you're right in the middle of my type there.
Oh, sorry. You have to move it over, dude.
So our brand guide looks something like...
Hold on. Go back to it.
Oh, sure.
We can do it this way.
I was joking, but... Whoa.
There you go. Now it's up there.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so you can see Christine still clicking away. Beast. Yeah, okay, so brand guideline. I think when I first started designing, brand guidelines were really kind of felt very boilerplate. They were straightforward. It was just like, what is the logo? How to use the logo? What are the fonts? But a brand guideline, I think, needs to also capture the brand essence of that brand. And I think that's voice and images. And so here, we start to communicate what the brand is. We sort of have a little brief here up front. We have imagery to sort of help communicate that as well. Mm-hmm. Can you jump to my screen?
Sure, we'll go back.
Yeah, there's a lot of visuals on screen there. So we're sort of setting the stage. So if there's another vendor or creative.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Don't riot. I went back.
Whoa.
It's just like, go back, too small. No, go back.
That's hilarious. We'll screen that.
Yeah.
No, tell me how you feel. Don't hold back.
Yeah, right. So, then this starts to get more of the granular. We start to see primary logo, sort of vertical portrait or in horizontal logo, landscape, icon, colors, primary colors, secondary colors, image usage, the do's and don'ts of the logo, what it looks like. I think a lot of people, you want to have a mark that is versatile and scalable. It can be multi-function in terms of what happens if you don't have all the colors to print it. You have to do black and white.
Yeah.
What happens if the logo's on an image? What happens if the logo's against a color? And so we had to sort of internally try to understand what that is. It's different for every brand. So
and that's very important, especially when you're using logos on top of things.
Yeah.
Just what's it going to look like? If the logo's black and it's on a black background, obviously
yeah, right.
have an issue.
Where'd the logo go?
Right.
Right. Or where you can use a logo, if it goes on an image, can it go on an image where it has a bunch of detail behind it, or do you have to try to say has to go on a flat part or something, a neutral part of the image?
Or will it matter if the image is portrait or landscape?
There's all those things.
All those things matter.
We're looking at all the granular details of, the textures that we're utilizing for the packaging. We're looking at typography, how you use it on different touch points, packaging, advertising, different marketing campaigns. Colors, system, business cards. Social media is such a big thing.
Yep.
How do those marks work across social media platforms? So it goes a lot more than just the logo. It's photo styling, colors. There's so many different applications, especially with technology. You got to consider all those things.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of a typical brand guideline we do.
Sure.
Again, it's different for every client. We don't try to boilerplate things.
And that was a very detailed answer to Kevin's question.
Sweet.
All right. How much time do you spend on trend research, or does the client give you that mainly?
Trend research. Yeah. You want to jump to Christine's screen?
Sure.
Sorry, Terry.
No problem. That's what I'm
See
for.
her
That's what I'm here for.
clicking away. Trend research. I think there's viability there. I know there's a lot of, you can buy the stuff online even. There's marketing houses, you can buy their decks. I think there's knowledge there to be had. We do sort of some surface research on it. We don't go too deep unless there's certain areas that we think we need to learn more in order for us to do our craft. So it's important. I think every agency, individual, there's different levels of research. I think when it's warranted, we'll do deeper dives into it.
Very cool.
But a lot of times clients do have that information. Sometimes clients actually buy a lot of that stuff on the research, and they provide it to us. So I always ask, what information do you have? Do you have sort of brand decks? Any information is really powerful.
All right, so Ryan, the answer to your question in the first part is they do it, but I'm going to ask the second part. Do you ever hand off the brand collateral or style guide to the client and let them run with it?
Absolutely, that's why we do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, I understand that their needs are going to sort of extend beyond what our agency can do.
Okay.
And that they need to sync up with other vendors, creatives, production.
So let me ask it a different way. How often do you carry out the design for them?
Carry out the design.
Yeah, the question was, carry out the design for companies like this, or do you hand off the brand collateral and or style guide and let them run?
Yeah, we would love to, with good clients, and I've tried to be very selective on the clients that we work with, because I want to build long-lasting relationships with them. It's good for our business, and so when we have clients, we want to nurture and create the best experience possible. So with all the notion that, yes, we want to do as many brand, design, production with them as possible. But again, when certain things fall outside of our scope of work, then we know they're gonna hand it off to someone else. So we like to manage it as much as possible, but at a certain time in that relationship, they're going to go beyond us. So I would say the lion's share, majority of the work we do at Farm Design. Then there's certain things that falls outside of our core competency, and then we hand off a brand guideline to allow the next vendor to be able to understand and sort of shepherd the brand. And I think that's what a really good, strong brand guideline does.
It sounds like you've done this a couple times.
Once or twice. Once or twice. Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Cool.
You know what? Kevin's asking a question. How can you work so fast and make all these quick decisions? It looks like every step is already planned and detailed, and you're just flying through the to-do
I am
list.
not. Actually, this
And you know what? It's like that. She's like that orchestra conductor. She knows all the pieces and just starts. You're watching the symphony.
Yeah. It's a well laid out
Yeah.
plan, and so she's just kind of following the script. Without that organization, then it's going to take a lot longer.
So, I mean, I'm just taking elements that we've established and seeing if I could make another touch point.
Yeah, she's drawing from the... Kelly's leaving us. She was awesome.
Bye, Kelly.
Watch hers.
And then we got Anna Rising. I'm going to do the host work. I'm going to do your work here.
Dude.
Anna's in the studio. Hi, Anna. So she's been crushing it, so looking forward to her third
Next
day
up
as
is
well.
Anna at the top of the hour. Anna Rising. Stay
I
tuned.
should just put this here.
So I think a lot of moves that Christine's making, the allows her to be so quick is because she's drawing from a lot of the resources that we organize. So that brandscape, she's pulling a lot of those artifacts, even though they may not have been used on the bottle themselves. There's that system there that she's pulling from and getting inspired. So it's all there to draw from.
Right. Now, one comment was made, and I agree, but I know it doesn't matter because it won't be ever used this, or at least probably won't be used this way. Without the bottle, they said it looks like a cigarette ad and label,
yeah.
and I agree.
It does.
It does remind you of that particular brand.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the color and
Yeah.
that diamond on its
Right.
side sort of thing, whatever it is.
But luckily, we won't ever see it without the packaging.
Yeah. We'll see what this is starting to look like. I mean, I don't really have anything.
It's
but
like, once it's texture, do you put a
picture.
blended texture in there because it's not on the
I'll probably put it in
on the bottle,
Photoshop, so
or that
that little
that granular
homestead
deed
thing.
or something? Yeah, maybe. I
Yeah.
think maybe the image.
Sure. Let me put it in Photoshop.
I'm gonna try to find a muddler and clip it out.
And when either of you are feeling burned out, how do you handle it? Take a break, take a vacation, go work on something else.
Take a break for sure.
Take a break. Is that a walk? Is that just a visual break? Is that a go to a different desk? What's your break like? What's the break like? Break life of Christine.
Break. I mean, use your personal days. I mean, Aaron's gonna
So
say
that's
like I don't use
that's
my
a day
personal days,
off.
but
Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
I try to tell her you gotta take vacation. You gotta. She's I don't call her a workaholic, but she's very dedicated with what she does. No, I think it's important to have that balance in life. You have to, and at Farm Design we only work 40 hours a week, and I only take on projects to accommodate the bandwidth of everyone just working 40 hours a week. Because I've worked in places, and I have a lot of friends who work in environments where the agency or the design studio is just going to take on any work, and because it's billing,
Right.
and then you just got to get it done. And so people are
Working 60, 70, 80
right,
hours
and you're
a
just
week,
going to burn them out. So we don't do that. So certain projects come in, it's like, oh my gosh, that's billing, but I value building a culture for our business. It's so much more important for longevity.
You are an amazing manager.
Try to be. I learn from my mistakes, but more importantly, I try to learn from other people's mistakes. So
That's
you
awesome.
yeah.
And when I say manager, I mean owner. Owner / manager / worker.
Trying to find a muddler for you. Can you do me a
for
favor? Can you jump to the hero, the first screen?
Sure. Of the okay.
Like maybe one of these. I can drop one of those across the front, and maybe I'll get some fruit,
Maybe like a
mint
berry,
or something.
Maybe like a berry.
Yeah, maybe I'll grab this little
Yeah, that would help.
muddler here. I'll clip that out for you.
Cool.
Oops.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we got more book requests. Aaron, you're being tapped to write a book now.
You gotta do it now.
Dude, you got a built-in audience right here. Everyone would buy a copy.
Write a book, huh?
Yeah, make it an ebook. Just make a PDF.
That's true.
Ebook, sell it off your site.
So if I were to write a book, what would you want to know? What would the title of that book be? What is the content in it?
How to be successful in graphic design. Everything you've been talking about.
Huh?
How about we just do an Adobe Live recap?
Yeah,
you
just
know
go-
what? You know, here's I'm going to give you the what do you call it? The footnotes or the.
Even if
I
you
want that-
just,
what that
even
book
if you
might
just
be like.
took 3 days of these questions,
Yeah.
plus all the ones you already get, and just answer them.
Maybe like a mini book.
Yeah.
Here's my secret. I think of everything as you want to have short-term goals, and long-term goals.
Whoops.
Already sold.
I'm not going to repeat that.
Creating a brand from scratch. I think as you guys mature and grow in life and in business, I think it's important to always have goals. You need to have the short term and you need to have the long term. I think real success happens when you have long-term goals that you're willing to execute. And that takes commitment. And a lot of people are looking for those short term. They want that instant
everybody wants that
gratification.
instant pop,
they want to
that
get in and
instant-
out.
yeah,
They're trying to
quick
find
money.
instant. Yeah, and there's no such thing as quick money. And so if you're doing things that are meaningful to you, things that are fulfilling to you, and those things typically take longer to sort of execute and to see to fruition. So if you can focus on whatever your craft is, whatever you're doing, and look at the long term, you're going to be successful and you're going to be happy doing it. And it's about finding fulfillment in what you do. That's the key.
I agree.
So there's the book. It was a really short book.
But no, you got to write it, man. Dictate it. Let someone else type it.
It's gotta have pictures, so I think we'll hire you, Terry, to do that.
You know, I'm going to go back to one of the other
I'll be glad to
questions.
contribute. I can be your.
How do you?
I'll write a page.
You know, there was when you say like what happens when you burn out. I think in life there's a work life and there's a personal life, and that's why I talk about doing 40 hours a week, because I want to make sure everyone has time to be with friends and family and do other interests, and that's so important. So
It is.
For me, it's, you know, I love being at work. I love hanging out with everyone there, but then afterwards I'm going to do things that are exciting to me, and to me that's, you know, right now it's working out and doing obstacle course races.
All right.
You know,
So
it's always do something different than maybe always designing. I think that's what will keep you fresh.
we got one title suggestion. If people want to put in their title suggestions, go ahead. But here's one right off the bat: going from a one-man band to a creative shop.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good.
See? Yeah, see, we got to get him to write it. So, more good suggestions on the book, topics, ideas, what you'd want to see in it. Doesn't have to be, dude. It doesn't have to be 300 pages.
You know, I'm not trying to do a plug here, but I learned a lot about myself recently because I was asked to do a TED Talk, and the topic was human potential. And when I was asked to do this TED Talk, I was scared to death. Like, I'm not going to do it. That was the first thing that popped in my head: is no, I'm not going to. What's my excuse to not do it?
That's quite an honor to even be
Right?
asked. Yeah.
And I knew that I had to challenge myself, and it would take me out of my comfort zone and do that. And so in reflection on where I was and trying to find my human potential, a big part of it is farm design started in 2000, and I was a solopreneur. I always worked for myself for like 12 years. Mm-hmm. And I could only reach a certain level of success just doing everything by myself. And I consider that being a plant in a small pot. And it wasn't until I met people like Christine and designers who are motivated and that allow me to sort of expand our capabilities is when I really started to grow. So instead of working in a small pot, which I worked out of a home office, I moved into a garage, and then I set up a couple more stations. I hired Christine. And then we had a lot of success.
I remember the no air conditioning.
It was a very short period where after moving into the garage that we started to see that needle move on, you know, our success and clients calling us, and then we got a bigger space. And that was super scary because now I got rent.
Yeah.
And so we got a larger space, and then we started hiring more people, and we just continue to see the business grow. But it's going from that small pot to that bigger pot to allow the roots to grow and allow us to sort of flourish. And so I think it takes a lot of courage to do that.
People are wanting to link to your TED Talk.
Look it up.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube, I think, right?
So
and on TED. Is it on TED?
Yeah, if you just go, can I plug it?
Sure,
Yeah,
absolutely.
all right, plug. Yeah, if you go to,
If you want to bring it up on your browser, we can switch over to it if you find it.
just, you can just go to YouTube, key in TED Talk, and then my name, Aaron Atchison. Aaron.
Right, spell your name.
Aaron.
Yep.
Atchison. Atchison. Yeah, if you just go there, there's a talk there. Hopefully it's inspiring.
All right, I put it in the chat.
I was like that TED Talk. I was like
incentive, the heat.
The garage.
I was freaking out during that TED Talk. It was like,
I bet you were.
Gosh.
I know how I'd freak out.
Yeah.
All right, we got about 20 minutes, folks.
How are we doing? I
Time
like what
flies.
I'm seeing.
I'm loving what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
she's being a beast again.
You cut me out.
I'm going to give you a muddler, I think is what it's called. And I'm going to clip out some fruit for you and just add some little details to your... How's that box, that carry case?
It's kind of
Did you try with an image on it, or was it too
Oh
much?
yeah, I can try with the image.
You screen an image on there?
Mm-hmm.
See, I Googled it and I found it like in 2 seconds. You
There you
guys
go.
are lazy.
If it inspires you, share it. Please. That's all I ask.
There's your book. If it inspires you, share it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this image?
Yeah, what about the one with the
Okay.
hay bale?
Sure.
Pretty cool.
On the red? Or should I?
Yeah, maybe on the left to counterbalance the... That's kind of cool. And you're getting some nice contrast behind the...
Yeah. I want to cover up the people.
So as you see, like, she's asking me my opinion on certain things. So in the office, Christine is always bouncing around the office soliciting everyone's opinion. And then people come to her. So she's the art director, but she's asking designers who, are interns. There's no ego there.
Exactly.
If they have an opinion or knowledge, then share it. So
just because I ask you for
like
your
that.
opinion doesn't mean I have to follow it. Just so.
yeah, right.
If I like it, great. If I don't, oh well.
Okay.
All right, here's another book title. Inspire Your Inner Creative. That was by Sean Flores.
Well, these are good.
I'm going to just stay on him until he writes it. Like, he's just going to be getting text and calls in the middle of the night. Hey, man, how's the book coming?
Good idea. We have any other questions? Come on, hit us hard.
Hit Aaron hard.
No, hit Christine hard.
How do you sell your idea? I read an article that designers fail when explaining the ideas to clients.
Oh, that's
How do you
good.
How do you sell
during
your idea?
presentation?
Yeah. You could be the best designer, but if you can't
that's right.
communicate why there's value to what you're doing for them, or why how you can sync up with them, and you could lose a really good client. So being able to be articulate, being able to communicate, and this is what I talked about, I think, on day one, talking about when we do critiques that everyone is involved, because there's something we say when you're trying to dissect and understand why you like something or why you don't like something, and you need to do it verbally, externally, it triggers something when you connect the words with your brain as opposed to just your brain just like, it's cool, but challenge your brain, become a critical thinker and understand why it's good or not. And then those sort of skills that you do that internally, whether you're at school, when I know every classroom has critiques, and I know there's those students who sit in the back of the classroom and don't say anything.
Right.
Those are the students that I've taught. I grab them and I pull them in front of the room like, okay, what do you see? Trying to make them better. It's important to communicate. So in the office, in our environment, everyone has to communicate. Because it makes you a better designer.
Absolutely. And it gets you used to talking about your ideas.
Yeah.
Or your feelings or your thoughts on a particular item.
Was that for me or for Christine?
Or
Which
you
one?
just- what?
Oh, I didn't quite hear it. I'm sorry.
No, I was just adding
was
to what you said.
focusing.
Book title, Hit Me Hard.
Okay, I got a muddler here for you, Christine.
Okay.
All right. Any
Is
advice,
Is there a
Design.
library? Should we
Aaron?
put in the library?
Aaron or Christine?
I'll start a library.
Any advice for
There's, all right.
designers
start
working in
library.
corporate,
There's another.
like in-house?
A what?
Any advice for designers working in corporate, like in-house?
I mean,
Would it be any different?
I wouldn't know. I've never worked
You've never
really
worked for
in
corporate design shop.
So
Yeah.
have you?
I've heard horror stories, but I haven't. So I don't come from a lot of experience in that
Okay.
realm.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's hard to answer a question about something you've never had to deal with.
I don't think it would be. No, I don't even know.
Okay, I want to save this.
Yeah, I think if I have it.
I want this whole thing. Oh, I'd have to do
Wait, are you on? Oh, you're in Photoshop?
yeah, I want to give this to you.
Okay. Let me open
You guys got the
Photoshop.
same library, don't you?
Yeah,
Oh, wait, could it go from Photoshop to InDesign?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right, because it has all
it's
the.
right there.
Yeah, same library.
Okay.
Okay,
So if you do like a PNG.
so I have two. Maybe I do 2 layers because you're going to need the front layer and then
The
you're gonna need
libraries work across the products.
Okay, so I'm going to grab both and you're going to merge them.
So
all you have to
amazing.
do
I
is
can't
just
wait to
be
use
in
it,
whatever
like,
product
at
you
work.
want and drag it in.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to give you the first the muddler. There it is. And then I'm going to give you the background. Okay, so you'll have the muddler there. It's syncing up. So
All
we're
right.
sharing Adobe libraries right now. So I was, you couldn't see my screen, but I was actually clipping some artwork out. It's popping up on, so is that outline?
I'm
Yeah.
showing them your screen really quick.
Oh, cool.
Yep, so they see it now.
And so I can actually update things on my screen and it will update on her screen.
All right, and she just pulled
With
it
the
in from
shared
that library, and
library,
there it is.
I'm going to give you the shadow. We need that
What's
shadow.
that weird thing right there?
That's the end. It was like dipped in white paint.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
didn't-
part of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
So you could just use the frame to crop that off if you didn't want, or part of it off at least.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see now. It's the end. I thought it was like a little hipster moment.
Yeah.
okay, so this one.
Now that you
is-
pointed out, I can't see anything else.
Yeah.
So something's gonna pop up. I gave you the shadow on that. It'll pop up. I think it has to be 2
Yeah,
because
it's syncing.
you're in design.
Oh, you did 2 of them?
Well, one has the shadow. I want
And
her to
one
grab the
doesn't? Okay,
shadows, and then the
gotcha.
one is just gonna sit on top. So you
Now,
need
if you want to replace that, I was going to give you the tip to
okay.
replace it.
So how are we
Oh,
doing
yeah.
with time?
All
do
right.
I-
How do you what? You want to replace that one?
Yeah.
So drag it in, but hold down the Option key when you drag it over it.
Hold this now.
No. Drag that one, the one you want to replace this one with. Start dragging it. Hold down the Option key. Now click, and it will replace that one. Is there another day to this reverb mic? Unfortunately, no. This is it. I know you'd like to have maybe a 20-day stream, but
We want them to ask us back.
quite
So
not going
yeah.
to. We're not going to quite do that. But I'm so happy that you wanted to keep going. All right, we'll be back in 2 weeks with another 3-day stream on mobile illustration. No, mobile illustration for mobile illustrators.
Is that the one?
There's this one here has a shadow,
I see.
and then you just do a multiply with the shadow.
Okay, got it. Gotcha. What's Paul doing?
Paul's
Can you turn the
being-
camera to show Paul? He's like doing
He's doing
gymnastics back here.
Yeah, acrobatic stuff.
It's entertaining.
He's getting warmed up for a stream
Right.
in 15 minutes.
It's like the hype man.
Is it not working?
Oh,
you
you know, I
do
have to
multiply?
multiply. Okay.
Yeah, multiply.
And you can do that in InDesign. Yep, there you go. Sweet.
How are we doing with time?
You've got about 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
so
Okay, so
I
we're
can
gonna do some
show
final
you.
touches. Oh, I need to do that. Okay, I'm gonna change the levels on that for you.
Oh wait, hold on. No, that's just because I don't have Oh my god, what did I do?
Undo.
Uh-oh. Yesterday, someone reminded us to save. We weren't saving all day.
That was me.
So
only because I've been
hit
there.
save.
Hit save.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of weird because the white.
Oh, then we won't put the shadow in for today. I'm gonna give you a mint leaf. I think it needs a little color. So that's good. Just get rid of the shadow thingy.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shannon.
No shadow.
No shadow. Bye, shadow.
The shadows, that detail, we would want to make sure there's a shadow on
Yeah.
that. But for today, we're short on time. I'm gonna
Short on
this
time.
little
So
sprig
imagine
in.
a shadow, if you would.
Are you gonna pen tool it? You gonna do like a rough one?
Yeah, show me.
Are you on layers? Or
Layer.
You could also use select and mask if you just want to get rid of the background.
yeah. If
What do you
just
do?
Select and mask under the
if you
select
just-
menu.
Or if you do.
Select and mask.
Then use the
See.
quick select tool at the top, or you're already on it, to select the leaf. Just start dragging over the leaf to select it.
Okay.
Is it
This
doing
really-
it?
How do I know it's working?
Okay, upper right corner,
Oh, that's
panel, switch to, just switch your viewing mode. See the little icon there?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
That one.
Switch it to whatever would be easier to see.
Maybe on black.
Yeah, try it on black. There you go. So now you can see what's being selected.
Oh, can you show someone my screen?
I
This is
can.
magic. Huh?
Select and mask lesson.
This is really.
You can use a smaller brush.
Whoa.
You can hold down.
Oh, and
the-
I can
You can
go
hold down the
backwards
option
too, right?
key. Yep, option key to go
Yeah,
backwards.
That'll be the minus.
There you go.
Yeah, it could be super rough.
Terry dropping some knowledge.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the fine details at this
A
point.
Gen Xer learning something.
I don't.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, don't do
Oh,
that.
because you could do every.
Yeah, just finish the leaf. We'll fix the edges in a minute.
Oh, wow. It's gonna work for us.
Yeah, get as much of it as selected as you want.
Almost there.
All right.
Okay.
You see that brush, second brush on the left? All the way on the left.
Oh,
Second
yep.
brush.
My
Yeah.
other left.
That one.
Yeah.
Click it.
Yeah.
And take that one over the white edge, and that should refine it. And then there you go.
Pretty cool. Now we're cooking with fire, gas. What are we cooking with?
Magic.
Oops. Okay.
All
Good
right,
enough for our.
Good enough. All right.
enough?
So
Okay.
on the very bottom right, should say output to, what does it say? Selection or select or mask or
Output layer mask selection.
no? You want what is it? Something and layer mask. I forgot what the first word is.
Selection. We got layer mask, new layer with
New layer with mask. That's the one.
new layer with mask. Okay.
That's the one you
And
want.
click OK.
Click OK. And
And it's this guy
yeah,
here.
if you turn off the background layer, you'll have it.
Yep. And then I'm going to put this in our Adobe library. So I'm going to drag this. Christine's going to grab it.
So now he's just putting that one layer in the library without the layer mask.
Right. And I can see it
without the
syncing up
background.
here with the little icon, so it
It
should
is syncing.
jump to Christine's.
Magic is happening in the background.
It's going to pop up on her
I see the
library.
little sync thing going. It's happening. It's happening. There it is. Boom. And we're there. We're there small, but we're there.
So we're adding some little details, sort of try to continue that story. Again, we'd refine and get the shadows in there. Let's see where we're at.
Should it be with the monolith?
So we have a full system.
Yeah.
We designed something. We have a system.
Where do I put this guy?
Portfolio piece.
I'll just leave it here.
Yeah, it's good.
Can I have it for my portfolio, which has
It's all
nothing
yours,
in
buddy.
it? Man?
I'll send you a bill.
No, this is all. This is all Christine. Man. I had nothing to do with it.
All right, let's show them the final piece.
Maybe I'll export it.
All right, final piece, and the final looks like 7 minutes.
Hopefully it works.
With 7 minutes, we can maybe
Now-
field another question
oh
or
man,
two.
you made a PDF. I was going to show you another tip.
Oh,
Oh, what do I do?
Go back to the InDesign.
Alright.
Go down here on the tool panel. Pop up that last icon down here on the tool panel.
Right here?
Yeah. Oh.
How do I make it smaller?
Hold on the Option key and that plus sign, green.
I'm sorry,
Green.
this
Oh,
one?
there you go.
Option. Oh, cool.
Go down.
I can't.
See, we're learning with you guys. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Wait. I can't go down.
Oh, well, there you got to extend that window, or
okay.
extend that window back down. And this last icon there, that was the last one. Right
Oh,
there.
that guy?
Yep. Or you know what? Just hit the letter W. All right, letter W again. You already have it there. All right, and now go to window menu. No, I'm sorry, view.
Yep.
I've already forgotten how to do this.
No pressure.
Crap. Hold on. 1 second. One
Is
second.
it fit page?
No. That's
Okay.
not what I'm looking for. Hold on. No.
Terry, we're on the clock here.
I know. After.
We've put all the pressure on Christine this week. A little pressure on you.
Oh, you can't see it because it's okay. Hit this double arrow.
Oh, this guy.
That one. Yes. No. This one.
This one.
It's one of those.
Click and hold.
Preview?
Presentation. That's what I'm
There
trying to
we
get
go.
to.
Oh.
Presentation mode in InDesign.
Can I get zoom in?
Bailed out.
Can I zoom in?
You might be able to hit Command plus. Command plus. No.
No.
So it's fitting window then.
No.
All right, go back
So
to the
there's
PDF.
the system.
There we go.
Let me go back to the PDF.
Go back to the PDF because she wants to be able to
Yeah,
zoom.
hide your screen. Can you zoom in on that?
There
you
she go. You want to be able to
This
zoom.
might not be the sharpest thing,
No, it works.
but
PDFs render.
yeah. So we got.
Yeah, so
Command
we're
F,
telling a
that's
story
what it
here. You know,
was,
here's
Command F.
the packaging is set. You know, some brand voice, some granular copy, to sort of some background. We start to see some artifacts, type, background colors, textures, mood images to sort of set the stage, give you that feeling, that fuzzy feeling. You know, the key sort of high-level brand messaging, state your sip, detail shots, and then, you know, 4-pack. We did all of that in a little over an hour,
Dude,
right? Can we right
you
here?
rocked it. All
Christine,
right.
you're yes, she's awesome. Christine,
Christine, I've never seen graphic design happen so fast in my
Right
life.
before your eyes. Cool.
I'm gonna
did
expect
it.
this level of speed
You
and
know what?
accuracy in the office every day.
I know what it was. There was a secret behind what she was doing.
What was it?
I figured it out.
Well,
She was just playing a video. This was all pre-recorded.
I'm not really here.
Right.
one of the video
green
games.
That's
screen
right.
is.
She's just playing a video. It was
Yeah.
all
I'm not here.
pre-recorded. That's why
What's
it
the
went so
art director
fast.
think? I want to
No,
know what
she
he thinks
rocked
about
it.
Yeah.
this.
What do you
Is
think
it
of our
on?
week?
It feels too designed.
Never
That's
happy.
Honest guy.
Design.
No.
All right, we got like 3 minutes. Any parting words?
Goodness.
Fun.
I just want to give a shout out
Yeah.
to Adobe and Adobe Live and all the great sort of hosts here. You guys are awesome facilitating this. I think it's a great
you.
platform that I hope, like, the viewers, I think they're getting
Well-
a lot of knowledge and resources. You go into YouTube, Adobe Live, and there's just tons of video, or like over 100 videos right now, and it's only going to grow from here.
Yep.
So I think the platform and everything you guys are facilitating is awesome. I think I speak for Christine. It's just an awesome that we could be a part of it. And to the audience, I hope we sort
Yeah, I
of
hope
drop
you
some
got a lot
knowledge,
of it.
rub our
You
brain
did,
on your
definitely.
brain type of thing.
You guys
Yeah.
are definitely one of my favorite teams to host ever.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's big.
Is this your first one?
No.
You've done others. Okay, cool.
I've done
I'll take it.
others.
Take a
It
compliment.
is an actual compliment. You are one
I'll
of my
take
favorites today. No, just kidding. You are one of my favorites.
You are our favorite host we've ever
All
had.
right, yeah, on Adobe Live. Right there, you go.
Yeah.
All right, but no, you guys are great, engaging. Information was amazing. It was just fantastic watching the process, watching and hearing your insights, Aaron, and watching Christine work. It was just unbelievable.
Appreciate it.
So,
Thanks,
and
everyone.
looking at all the questions and comments and feedback people were giving in the audience, they loved it too. And so now we are going to be his what what do they call it? Your motivational buddy. You got to get that book done.
All right. I like a challenge.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's not much of a challenge. All you got to do is just write what you've been saying.
Well, that's easy.
It's not
Okay.
much
Just
of a
write it,
challenge.
no
Just
big
write
deal.
it. Yeah.
All right.
You already got it. Just put it on
Look
paper.
on the newsstands next week. It's
There
that
you go.
easy, right? I'm going to design the book. I'm going to have Christine design the book cover.
Okay.
In 2 hours.
Yeah, no, 2 minutes. Come on.
God.
It's already done. Come on, just show it to us.
Yes.
All right.
He already has a
So with that said, and we are out, folks. Stay tuned. Anna Rising's
Anna
up next.
Rising.
Paul Tran is hosting,
Anna Rising.
and more design to come. Cheers, everybody. Take care. I'll be back at 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Cool.
No, I'll be back at 3 p.m. Pacific time. It is almost 1 p.m. Pacific time.
see you.
You can still, yeah, I'll still be here. Just
You're
over there.
forever.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Cool.
Cool.